ever like just totally weighed down? Like even on Random Tuesday, you're carrying, I don't know, just like all the burdens of the world.
Oh, yeah.
So many of you reached out about this idea, originally from another language that really resonated. It's about why life can sometimes feel like this, like a constant uphill battle.
Right.
And we thought it was so fascinating. We wanted to, really take a deep dive into it with you,
Absolutely.
see if we can unpack it together. So the idea is that this feeling, that daily heaviness and maybe like an underlying unease, it might actually be because we're kind of stuck in this inner tug of war, like you against, well, you.
It's like we're fighting ourselves constantly.
Yeah, exactly.
And the text does a really good job of pointing out something that I think we can all relate to. It's like we've spent our whole lives being corrected, don't do this, don't say that, don't think that way.
Oh, yeah, like a lifetime of no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we end up internalizing all of that. And it almost like we've been trained to distrust our own instincts and our own desires.
Right. It creates this like relentless inner critic, right? And then all that energy we spend trying to fit ourselves into some mold that someone else created, it leaves us exhausted, right? Like, I don't know, have you ever tried to perfectly fold a fitted sheet?
No, never gonna happen.
Like, that's what it feels like. So then you layer on these questions that the text brings up, right? It's like, why does every single day feel so heavy? Why does this unease, this sadness, why does it always stick around?
Yeah.
And it's suggesting that maybe, just maybe, it's this internal friction. It's this fight that's happening inside of us.
It's that classic battle between, your gut wants pizza, but your head is telling you, no, you need to eat a salad.
Yeah.
You're in this constant mental food fight with yourself.
Yes. And then the text, it kind of boils it all down to this. Battling yourself makes life a struggle. It makes sense, right? Imagine trying to walk forward, but your feet are trying to go backwards at the same time.
You're not going to get very far.
Exactly. You're just going to be stuck. And this is where it gets really interesting. The text argues that listening to your inner voice, like really accepting yourself, warts and all, it's not selfish, it's not indulgent, it's actually the most important thing you can do.
It's like your first responsibility, actually.
Wow.
And what I find fascinating is this idea that truly accepting yourself, like really getting who you are at your core, that's the foundation for everything else. If you're constantly rejecting yourself, how can you actually, let in any good stuff from the outside?
That's a really good point.
It's like trying to pour water into a glass that has a hole in the bottom. You can keep pouring and pouring, but it's never going to fill up.
It just keeps leaking out.
Exactly.
And that's, what the text is saying. That this self-rejection, it doesn't just make us feel bad, it actually steals our ability to enjoy even the simple things, Like life just starts to feel kind of blah.
Right, you lose that spark.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. The solution that this text offers, it's actually pretty simple. It's become your own friend.
Yeah.
Right? Like forgive yourself for not being this, mythical unicorn of perfection.
And embrace those quirks. Like those are the things that make you unique.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, where the real magic happens. The beauty of making the shift is all about where your energy goes.
Yeah.
Instead of fueling this constant internal conflict, it gets freed up to actually live your life,
Yeah.
Like really experience it.
You're no longer at war with yourself.
Exactly. You're on the same team.
Yeah.
And so, to bring it all back, that's really the core message here. Fighting yourself turns life into this constant brawl. But embracing who you are, accepting yourself fully, that's how that struggle transforms into actual joy.
And that's when life starts to smile back at you.
Yeah. And the text actually ends with this really powerful call to action. It says, therefore, starting today, stop fighting against yourself and become your own friend. Life will appear smiling to you.
I love that. I mean, who wouldn't want that? A smiling life.
Right. So as we wrap up here, as you're going about your day, just think about this. What's one tiny act of self-kindness you can sprinkle in today? Just a little something to nudge yourself in the direction of friendship with, well, yourself. Thanks for diving deep with us.
That's